Round 7 is here for the Record of Ragnarok manga. The scores are tied between the gods and humanity. Will the humans take their first lead in the tournament, or will the gods stay one step ahead? The battle between rulers, Hades vs Qin Shi Huang. Welcome to my prediction video. I've been covering Record of Ragnarok as a series now for over a year, so make sure to subscribe if you enjoy chapter reviews, what if battles, explain videos, and much more to come. Of course, while waiting for the round 7 reveal, I was praying for my boy Rasputin to fight, but the reveal that Hades is actually fighting for the gods due to Buddha's betrayal was pretty hype, and Qin Shi Huang's personality as shown in his introduction chapter is very appealing as well, so I'm very excited for this round 7. Let's break today's video up into 3 sections, one about Hades, one about Huang, and one about the predictions regarding the battle itself, starting with Hades. So as we know, in the Record of Ragnarok story, he is the god of the underworld, or the leader of the underworld, being one of the 4 top gods alongside his younger brother Zeus, Shiva, the leader of the Indian gods, and Odin, the leader of the Norse gods, which by default would make you think he's one of the strongest characters in the whole series. And based on various implications we've got about him and him just talking, it's kind of being implied that way. And to such a degree, I wouldn't be surprised if Hades ends up being the strongest character we've seen in the story so far, which would be pretty crazy. His relationship with Zeus seems to be quite interesting, much different to what many of the other gods have with Zeus. It seems like they have mutual respect for one another, but it kinda gets a sense that Zeus has more respect for Hades than what Hades has for Zeus, which is very interesting. Again, could be the whole older brother dynamic, but still Hades' power is definitely insane. His whole reason for entering the tournament is actually to get revenge for his other younger brother Poseidon, which was defeated and killed by Sasaki in round 3 of the tournament. And as we clearly see, out of all the gods we've seen thus far, Hades is the closest resemblance-wise to the likes of Poseidon. Kinda make me feel they were probably the closest to one another, or at least Poseidon, who's a very distant god, was closest to the likes of Hades, his older brother, who he may have had respect for, unlike his younger brother Adamas, who Poseidon killed. Regardless, the round 7 arena is set up for the likes of Hades, the leader of the underworld. Very spooky and scary looking, which is going to be pretty cool, but I don't think any specific elements of the arena will give Hades a innate advantage during the fight. Throughout the previous fight, Buddha vs Arjun, Hades was shown to be very intelligent and one of the only gods, if not the only god, to understand what was going on the whole time, with even the likes of Hermes and Zeus, who previously were the ones explaining and the only ones understanding, were lost for words, while the likes of Hades was just chilling and kinda talking shit to all of them, which again kinda implies his power, or at very least his crazy intelligence and analytical ability. Regarding his power, when he was initially introduced, he had like this eye patch cool little thing on his eye, but when he went to fight, he actually crushed that. I think that may have had something to do with suppressing his power perhaps. Maybe similar to someone like Kenpachi from Bleach, where the eye patch limits his power so he doesn't go overboard when just doing regular tasks or something like that. But now that he's removed it, he's going to be full power straight away. And regarding his drive for revenge, I don't think he's going to be messing around whatsoever like his brother Zeus was initially in his fight. But now let's talk a little bit about Qin Shi Huang. His introduction is probably my favorite in the series so far, if I'm being honest. He just absolutely flexed on the likes of Ares, which of course is always welcomed, and just talked some shit to the likes of Hermes. The second he was chosen to represent humanity in round 7, we get a big bang in him just walking through walls. His attitude is very appealing. A cocky human fighting a god that's, driven for revenge is going to be a very crazy matchup. He's known as the first emperor of China, as he was the person who first unified all of China, at least in our real world history. I went into more detail about that in this video here, explaining his connection to our world history and doing some predictions in that video as well. Regarding his worm tattoo, it seems to connect to poisons in Chinese history and everything like that. So his little weapon on his fingers here may have something to do with poison, and could very well be a divine weapon by default. We have a few explanations for his scene with Ares. Either he received a Valkyrie volume prior to actually appearing, or the fact that he only flipped Ares and Ares hitting his face on the ground was what made him bleed, not the actual attack from Huang. Either way, he's an absolute beast and is going to be an absolute monster himself. And the way Brunhilde kinda acted when she realized Hades was fighting for the gods next, she was kinda prepared and was like, oh, it's Hades, well, I have this ruler to deal with someone like him, so he's going to be beastly. A lot of people have been making the comparison between him and Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen, purely based on their design, blindfold, and kinda overall personality so far. He could have a similar power, but I personally don't think so, but if he does, he is indeed going to be broken. Now let's go over some predictions, but first, something that I think would be pretty cool for the overall Record of Ragnarok fandom is the actual Chinese fighter winning. As we know, he's the only other Chinese fighter representing humanity in the tournament. And for a lot of manga fandoms, they like shitting on how Japanese authors always make the Chinese fighters lose. If Huang was to win this, that could kinda shut those people up. Similar to how people were saying, oh yeah, Japanese authors are always going to make the Japanese fighters win. But as soon as Raiden lost, that kinda got rid of that argument. So if they can make Huang win, that could, shut that part of the fandom up as well, which would be pretty cool. Something I'm actually wishing to happen regarding this fight is there's going to be a summoning battle. We know both of them are considered rulers and the battle is, the battle between rulers. If maybe Hades has the ability to summon like demonic creatures or creatures from the underworld to fight with him, while Qin Shi Huang has the ability to summon his empire or at least his soldiers, and it's more so a tactical battle with the two rulers being like the generals of the army, trying to strategize their troops and have like a match similar to that, and maybe once both of their armies are out, we have them two fighting in the later portion of the fight. That could be pretty cool, and personally that's what I'm hoping for. It'll be a very unique fight, and the fact that it will delve more into mind games will be very exciting. If that isn't the case, or we do get Huang actually fighting Hades like hand to hand, I think he's going to be a more speedy like character, especially based on his build, and more so rely maybe on like his poison or something else that isn't like a big Chad punch, it's more of a slowly withering away his opponent. While the likes of Hades is probably going to have a pretty hacks ability, he could very well have something related to time as well, considering that his father, like Zeus, is Kronos, and Zeus was able to gain Kronos's time ability, or at least one of them. Maybe Hades inherited something else, maybe was involved in the whole Titan-Mammoth battle and maybe gained something pretty OP from that. However, my personal prediction for the winner of this fight is going to be Hades. I don't think the gods are going to lose the lead until one of the final fights, or actually the final fight itself. I think Hades will win this, get the revenge he wanted for Poseidon, and also show respect to Huang in this fight, respect him as a ruler, as I do think this fight is going to be super high difficulty and be very close, and I think Huang is going to shock everyone and potentially be one of the strongest in the series as well alongside Hades. So yeah, this is my prediction video. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think is going to happen down below. If you haven't already, make sure to join the Discord to talk more about Record of Ragnarok greatness. Follow the Twitter as well for more cool things. And as always, shout out to the people who support the channel via the Patreon. But yep, that's it guys. Peace.